Hello, everybody. Welcome. And we are here at the O'Brien Fellowship in Public Service Journalism, second annual fall conference. And my name is Herbert Lowe. I am a professional and a resident in the Diederich College of Communication and Director of Journalism for Social Change. And we have Lillian Thomas from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, one of our 2013-14 O'Brien Fellows. And we have John Patton Jr.
How you doing?
From Milwaukee. And we're going to talk about what it means to have health care in America and what it means to not have health care in America. So, John, how are you doing today?
Oh, pretty good. You know, life is treating me pretty fair at this point. You know, there's some good days and there's some bad days, but
very good.
today's one of the best.
Very good. And what do you make of being here today?
I'm fascinated by the beautiful people I'm just meeting today. You know, joyful. You know.
Very good. Well, we're happy to have you here.
Thank
and what do you make of Lily Thomas?
I like her, I adore her. She's like a sister to me. She followed me like a scout. She did what she had to do. She got the facts, stayed to the facts, nothing but the facts. So help me God. Yeah, she turned out to be a great friend, and I got my mutual respect for her.
All right, very good. So we're going to talk about some things, but for those taking their first blush at John Patton, tell us who John Patton is.
Well, he's a superstar. No. Actually, I'm just the average Joe. You know, I just live my life from day to day. You know, and I take the best of life, whatever it gives me, or throw at me at the same time. Going through it, I'm just about as curious as everybody. I'm the average person. I go through the day, I put my shirt on one day and pants on the other day, you know, the same way as everyone else. But I find life interesting in my journey through life, through my pains and sufferings of health care and going through health care. And if anything I do or say at this point that helps anyone else in this room or beyond this room is a blessing to me and a blessing to our society. I look at people as people, and the people I have met in all walks of life are fascinating in what they tell me and what I get out of it. You know, Lily, for example, as she was going with me, I'm in the bed, sick, you know, just didn't know I had a heart murmur, and she stuck by my side all the way. As she's doing her investigation, she was concerned enough to see what are they really doing for this guy? What is, you know, what's going on here? And what really went down, basically, they gave me good care, but what I didn't know, they want to stick me with a $23,000 bill. But either than that, yeah,
we'll get to that. So the subject of why we're here is called interplay between poverty, health, is complex. And it was in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel and the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette in June 2014. And the subtitle is Without a Job and Until Recently Without Health Care, John Patton Jr., like many in America, is trapped in a worsening cycle. So did you get to read the article?
Yeah, I found it fascinating, and it was down to the wire. You know, this is exactly what's going on in this city. And from my perspective, or what I've been through, you know, it's just amazing what you had to go through to paying, even with your dentistry, these extreme, you have barely got a job. The word I'm basically looking for is all this co-payment. You know, you're getting the healthcare part of it, but then the people who ain't got the job part of it still wind up paying. Where are you going to get the other half of that? And there's a lot of people have a tough time doing it, barely making on what they got, you know, if they got anything at all. I find that as I go along some of these places and I pass some of the information to other people that I meet, they may be in the food line, may be, and I'll go along and say, hey, you can go here at the City Hill and get you some glasses, or you can get you some whatever, you know, pills.
You mentioned City on the Hill. It's nearby on West Kilburn Avenue.
Yeah.
And Diane De Los Santos is in the audience.
Yeah, she's a beautiful lady.
And we'll hear more from her later.
Okay.
So Lily talked about it a little bit, but she begins the article about you in which she paints a scene in which a lot of people are there waiting to be matched with donated eyeglasses from the carefully labeled containers, and people are tired and anxious. And this is what she writes. Then John Patton Jr. shows up. He sprawls comfortably in his seat, throws his arms on the backs of the chairs next to him, and chats with those nearby. Then he focuses on the volunteer calling out numbers and waits a beat after she calls number 27, before booming out, "The Price is Right" style, "Number 27, come on down." Quote, "You know I'm a comedian to the highest degree," he confides as the room loosens and people smile. You like to make people smile?
Oh, yes, I do. It's that comedian in me. I figure, you're in there. There's no reason to be miserable. They're doing a service for you. Diane herself, God bless her, when anyone walks through that door, she's always greeting them, always smiling. She don't care. She'll make you feel better when you go to her. And I took that from her and do the same when I come in there and see other people. So when I walk in there and I see you all gloomy, I say, "Hey, you ain't dead yet. Get up, come on, move around." And they just shocked for a moment because they say, if this guy can come in here and he's not depressed or whatever, then I listen to what they say. If I'm in a line and they have a problem, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not trained in that, but I will listen. I will give them my true opinion. And that makes them feel better. That gives them hope from another human being perspective.
So there was a videotape as well. Did you see the videotape?
Didn't get the chance to see that.
Okay. Well, we're going to step down for a second because we're about to play the videotape. We want you to see it.
Come to see this.
Okay, come on.
First thing that happened to me, the drinking got worse. And then I had the gout. It felt like my toe was being ripped off out of my feet. So they had to deal with that. I had to deal with the depression at the same time, going through all this disability stuff. Then I went to see about a chest pain and found out about my hole in my heart and wound up being admitted for a couple of days.
Like many of the poorest Americans, John Patton faces chronic health problems, doesn't get regular health care, and lives in circumstances that make him sicker. It is not a temporary situation, such as the recent loss of a job, but a deeper, generational one.
We were originally from Memphis, Tennessee. There was problems later on after we moved and came over here because it was a new neighborhood, and we were our kind of country. I had an accent, and I was bullied on a lot. I was kind of a quiet, shy kid, but by then I lost somewhat a little interest in school altogether a little bit, so I started skipping more, and that's the only thing in my whole entire life I regret, that I did not, go all the way through the way I should have. I asked my teacher one day, I asked him, Mr. Fox, I said, "Which way do you think I'm going to go in life?" He said, "John," I said, "You want my honest opinion?" He said, "You could go either way. I think you're going to do all right." He said, "I think you're going to do all right."
For Patton, it didn't work out that way. He never finished high school, has trouble reading and writing, and lacks basic computer skills that might help him get a job.
And do you schedule your own appointments, like going to city?
As I dropped out of school in the 80s, because, like I said, it was just, I was having a tough time. I was way behind my class. And from there, I started getting odd jobs. Started with temp services, just odd jobs here and there. I was loving work. I was loving getting the money I was getting, dressing sharp, dating, young man in my prime, had a beautiful woman.
John's life changed when one day he suffered a debilitating accident at a foundry where he was working.
I had a disc that was kind of knocked loose, and a pull strain on the back. And then they gave me a small little settlement just to, So, it was no more than about $600 and something, $600, maybe $70, 22, something like that.
For a time, Patton struggled with drugs and alcohol. He now lives at home with his parents, a brother, and a sister in a neighborhood on Milwaukee's north side that is plagued by poverty, violence, and social problems.
As of right now, my mother, she's going through some cancerous stuff. My sister, she's dealing with, her seizure. She was in a car accident, and it scratched her brain. And losing my cousin to a guy blowing his head out because he's trying to sell a car. My nephew, the year before the end, he out there trying to rob somebody, and he got shot and killed. Then I lost my sister, and that was just not too long off the heels of maybe a year or two right there with my other sister who was under me, which we were very, very, very close. Got stabbed by her boyfriend in the heart down the street from here. I walked around in a complete daze for, weeks, just didn't respond, didn't react, it was just so much pain to overbear and overhear. I couldn't stop crying all the time. I was crying and crying and crying. and it was just overwhelming for me.
Patton has a difficult time navigating the health system. He has sought basic care in emergency rooms and is a regular at a free clinic that operates one Saturday a month.
I probably got, because of my family situation, antidepressants, because I'm worried about her, I'm worried about my mother, you know, and things like that. It's just, and then dealing with my own personal health problems, you know, and then I'm with this rehabilitation thing here, find out if I qualify for that or whatever too. So it's a constant thing, but at the same time, I'm out there trying to keep my life as normal as possible with, you know, getting me food from the pantry, because sometimes the food stamp doesn't cover enough, because, you know, certain basic needs, you know, as you see, it's a large family. So as time going on, you know, all these health problems start affecting me, you know.
For many like Patton, the cycle is difficult to break. Without a job, he couldn't get health insurance. Without insurance, he couldn't get the regular care that would help make him employable.
It's not easy for a person. If you could, I would love to get out there and just boom, 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 work. But most jobs ain't gonna want to hire you if they think there's a chance you can't lift a certain amount of weight, or you're too tired, you don't have the drive to do so. And the caseworker just went out and told me direct. She said, they're basically not hiring these people. There's no really work out there for them basically to do.
I'm going to get the website up, and I'm going to actually just let you do it. Today you're applying for the insurance.
Oh. So the insurance thing. Now, you know I'm computer savvy. I don't know anything about no computers.
I know, but you can do it, and I'll be here to help you.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
With help from social service workers, Patton was able to get signed up for Medicaid and hopes he can still qualify for disability benefits. He continues to rely on the local clinics for many health care needs.
As the depression is more now, I seem to be in a cloudy state. I look back and I reflect a lot. I do a lot of reflecting. I feel like I'm just here. I have no real meaning, no real purpose at this particular time. But yeah, I'm looking forward to try to, you know, have a good summer, if all but possible. You know, no matter what the outcome might be, you know, I'm looking at the positive direction, hopefully, you know, that things work out. I like that. I like that.
So
Interesting.
I feel like I should ask for your autograph.
Yeah, I see what piece. I didn't see this. I never saw this. You know, surprisingly. But yeah, that's true. That's true. You know,
You said in there you feel like you have no meaning. I mean, I don't think that everybody in the room would say that you would have quite a lot of meaning.
I was just talking to some of these people in the room here. There's some beautiful people in this room, and that's how I felt then. You know, at that particular time, it's been like changed entirely now. How I feel. You know, I was really depressed and I was going through a lot of stuff, but as life goes on, this is the good thing about life. You change. I feel like drawn again. My spirit is up. I feel like I got a second chance in life. I want to help people more. That's why anything somebody want me to do, I'll do. I didn't help my neighbors, cut grass, whatever, just to keep busy, volunteer my services. I'm finna ring the bell. Macy's department store, and you know, just to get a good outbeat. I feel like I'm going in the right direction. I don't care how things might come out.
When you say ring the bell, you mean at Christmas time,
yeah,
ringing
for the
bell.
Salvation Army. Yeah,
So, Obamacare, the Affordable Health Care Act, you hear a lot of talk out of Washington, a lot of talk out of Madison about how to provide health care, but then there's, you know, they seem like there's so many other things they're focused on as well. What do you think when you hear Obamacare? What do you think about that?
I think, well, I haven't seen no real results as far as, you know, I mean, for the masses. I put it like that. I can see it helping a few people. You know, it's a good thing. That's better than nothing. I really do. But it's just that it's like certain segment is left out of this, you know, because I don't know if it's lack of information, because they seem to be giving a lot of information. But it just seemed like people. I had a friend, matter of fact, his name was Trevor Meese, and he said, "Can I get some? I'm working a temp job. Can I get?" He said, "Well, you're working, so you don't fall. You fall in the middle somewhere." And I would listen to the guy because I took him over there, and he said, "Well, maybe try helping hand." So I steered him to another direction. Now he got something. But see, a lot of people don't know the hits and misses. You know, what do you qualify, what you don't qualify? You got to call and find out where you at, where your level or your right. But however, though, you know, he turned out pretty good with this.
Okay, so Lily, how is John different from the norm, and based on your reporting, and how is he the same?
I think he's different in that he has this incredible personality that that makes him, I think, approach the difficulties. Because when he says he's depressed, it's sort of hard to see that because he doesn't seem that way. But I know he has suffered depression and that he's had a lot of difficult times. So he's different in that way. But I think he's typical in that, as I said in the film, he is in a cycle where he was injured on the job, and then he could only do part-time jobs. He had difficulty getting full-time jobs. He doesn't have the training to get the full-time jobs that would not require physical labor. And until last year, he didn't have any kind of health insurance. He does now. So I think that he falls in that category of people who the healthcare is out there, but they can't always put their hands on it. Okay. And
just tell us again how you came to choose John.
How you know I didn't choose her? Go ahead.
As I said before, I was hanging out at clinics, and City on a Hill had a vision clinic. It's really quite extraordinary. They collect used glasses, and they have thousands and thousands of pairs of glasses, and then they put them each in a box, a plastic box according to the prescription. And people come in and wait, and they have 2 or 3 people giving vision exams. And then when you've gotten your prescription, they bring a box of 10 or 20 or 30 pairs of glasses, and you can pick your own pair. So it gives you a lot more choice than you might otherwise have. But it is a time-consuming process, so there was a bunch of people in chairs waiting. And when John came, he just kind of lit up the room, and I figured if he was willing to talk to the strangers in that place, he might be willing to talk to a reporter. So I approached him, and we just started talking. And
yeah. And
your first reaction, she walks up to you.
Well, she first walked up to me. I found it fascinating. It's the way she came at it. She said, "Would you do this? Would you consider doing this?" It was just so nice, professional, and it's just I liked her person. I think it was just liking a person right off the bat. I don't know what it was about her. I just liked her, and I said, "Sure, no problem. Yeah, we can do this. We can do that." I said, but she didn't know what she was getting into. But and we went on our journey, and we became even better friends because I got to know her not just as this reporter, but as this person.
How long? When did you meet? And the story ran in June. When did you first meet?
We met in December.
In December.
And so the clinic was once a month, so I met him that month, and then in January, I had gone to several appointments. John has been trying to apply for disability, so I went to those appointments with him. And then in February, he was admitted to the hospital, to the ER, and so we followed him through that.
Which I then found out about my heart condition. And by the way, she was very supportive there. She was there all the time. She checked on me, and Diane as well. She's been a joy. She made sure that her staff treats me nice when I come there. I always, if I got my medicine, she makes sure as I'm doing, she'll say, "Are you all right? Everything's going good, John?"
Where might you be without City on a Hill?
Probably in a worse shape, but probably in the hospital doing real bad right now because with this kind of condition, which I just found out, it's like it's been step by step. How this has been happening to me. And, any other guy, would you ask personally, if this happened to another person, they probably would have committed suicide because they couldn't take that much losing a girlfriend, losing a job, your disability, it's just hanging in the air. Your health is getting worse, it seemed at the time, and that would have been enough for the average person. But because I'm a kind of thick in the head, no. I'm going to fight every step and enjoy life every bit because I see the beauty in the world, and if God be it will that things turn around, and I believe in the almighty power that it's going to happen. Something good is going to happen.
Very good. So, Lily, you come to be, as a journalist, a certain level of detachment. And I've heard you both, I think we can all see that that may not be the case as it is. How did that make your reporting either harder or easier, or can you talk about that?
My main concern was not doing anything that would hurt John, and that is something that was both a professional and a personal.
What could have happened?
That he would have found reading about himself painful, or that something I reported would end up making it harder for him to get accomplished what he wanted to get accomplished in some way, that he would get attention of a kind he didn't want. So there was that concern because I was going pretty deep into his life. In terms of the personal relationship, I felt like the reporting was separated from the personal, but the personal was certainly there. We certainly got to be friends.
Have you suffered it or any way? I mean, did her fears realized by her reporting?
No, you know what? Actually, it helped. It did it didn't hurt. It actually helped.
How so?
Because basically, when I got my DVR, which has helped me find work and stuff, so they helped me get that going.
It sounds like an acronym. What is?
Well, DVR is where they help people with disabilities.
Okay.
You know, they kind of help them around their disability. They help them to get them jobs.
Who's they?
Well, DVR it's like a program.
Okay.
You know, government program.
It's a county agency that helps people both train for the disabilities and place people who have disabilities in jobs.
Thank you.
Right. And at the same time, by being as friends, just being friends, it's just, I would have regarded her being a reporter or not. Sometimes I didn't even think about it as a reporter. You know, that came second. It was a friend for she, and as far as the story, that was the first time I ever saw that. And boy, did I look this silly to me. I ain't talking about the story itself. I'm just saying me. I'm like, oh, God. Why did I wear that hat? I mean, I was throwing more of a fashion tip. I looked like I could have been in Chicago somewhere picking up peanuts. But I liked it, the story. That first time I ever saw it, I thought that humanized everything. So that's what you did for that. That was, I did all that editing. I was like, wow, like, I'll be sharp, yeah.
Well, you understand when she says that, she talked earlier about data and statistics, and a lot of money is allocated based on statistics. And so I think she said that she needed to put a face on it.
I think she did a good face. I think she recognized it, did a better job than I think of a big old media company would have did, CNN would have did. I think she did put humanized to it. And that's the respect that journalists like y'all put the human side to people's story. That's the main important if you're going to be a journalist. Put a human side to people. Don't get the sensational, he's a bum, he's in the street, they're all doing it. That's easy to do. The hardest thing to do is to get to know the person, individually know that person. Then other people can relate to it because say, that's who that person is, that's what he's living through, and that's what he's going through this entire time Obama program. And that's what she did. She gave me, even I found it fascinating. You need one of them Pillars Awards. But yeah, I liked it. Personally, I liked it, that story. I looked at it and I said, that's me? And that's the truth. And she showed it honestly. There was nothing hidden. There was nothing, there was more to it. I'm surprised they showed the part when we was over by Mrs. Tatum's house. And she said, baby, I'll cook you something. I got some food. I can cook you. My neighbors, I grew up with them since I was a kid. So it's like a tradition. It's a third generation in my neighborhood. And we all know each other. We know our grandkids, I got a daughter who's 20-some years old, a grandson, he's so cute, he looks like me, he got the same kind of personality. So it's a lot of things going on that is beautiful. I was talking to one of these young ladies out in the audience, and she said, I saw the piece, and I said, I want you to realize that this is how things were growing up with the kids. Have you ever saw any of y'all saw the Wonder Years, the TV show? That's how it was when I was growing up. It really was. It was a beautiful time. People left their doors open. And I got to live and be blessed to see all that. Now, what I see now, I'm not too happy about, but that's just the way of the world. You know, we got to go. We all got to go to progress. And that's why I feel like I feel right now. I want to at least leave this world better than I came in it, you know.
So what would you like to see realistically happen? If we were to say, what would solve the healthcare issues that you have encountered and you know many others have encountered, what solutions? If the person says, okay, we can fix this now, what would you say?
I would go with Diane on this. I think it needs more of a human touch where they can the help services along with the ones they already got. I think she's doing a beautiful thing.
Social service agencies?
Yeah, they come in there where people need it because, see, you get turned away from some of the stuff. Some of these people ain't got the co-payments they want to pay. I mean, some insurance may cover some of it, but sometimes it's a human need to it. It's like places where they can go and say, hey, I know they're going to be concerned about my, I know I can get my medicine. I know I'm not going to have to be sitting up here for hours having a heart attack waiting to get in the ER. You know, you can actually come in there and they're going to help you out on some kind of level. Then you can go stop you from going there. Mm-hmm. So if they can keep having these little centers and programs where people, that at least make the people feel better. As far as the healthcare program, maybe they should do like they do in Canada. Just cover everything. Don't leave nothing out. You know, if you can't afford it, until you can't afford it. Because if you get a person with good health care and their life is going good and their body is in good shape, they're going to work. They're going to do whatever they can do as long as they're able to do it. But if they got to come here and go there and pay this much money, that money they can use for gas or something else that they could be using that money for. But if they got to shove it all off to the hospital systems, you know, and they barely got that as it is, that's what I've been noticing from people I just talked to, just that they say, well, wow, man, I got to sit here. I got this. One guy got out of the hospital. I was in the hospital, and he was saying, oh, no, you're not going to stick that needle in me all night. I'm not going to be there. She said, well, sir, you got to sit here and have this done to you. He said, no. Last time y'all came in here, y'all just ran that bill. Y'all ain't paying all that money for that blood sample. I guess the guy didn't want to pay for no blood work. I thought he was getting something else was going on. I said, nurse, what's wrong with that guy? He don't want his blood work. He says it costs too much. you don't want to pay for it. Y'all not doing no more, nothing. And that's just a little sample of what I'm talking
People
about.
have to make choices.
Yeah, it's just, I guess the guy was thinking that that's going to cost him money on the bill, on his hospital bill, when his portion he got to pay. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes there's a portion you got to pay if they don't cover it all, depending on your Medicare.
Lily, in your reporting from Oregon, Philadelphia, and other places, is there one solution that you think that you found that's happening elsewhere that you think would help people like John in Milwaukee?
I think healthcare is too complex for one solution, but I do think that taking it to the level of trying to get people on all levels, that you have social services combined, if you could have a place that is looking to all of those interests, that's helping them with whatever the barriers are, whether it's transportation or language or conditions in their living environment. And that's hard to imagine what exactly that would look like, but I think it would look like something like these little clinics we've been talking about, where you come in and the people are trying to connect you with all the services you need. So I think that something like that is where we'd want to be heading.
Okay, I like to open it up to questions from the audience. One of my students maybe in here can grab one of the microphones and take it. Does anyone have any questions? Please. Microphone will come to you in a moment.
I can talk loudly.
No, we're video, audio tape. Right there.
Thank you. I had the opportunity to meet John for a little bit at the beginning of this session. My question for you is, when you're talking about the severe depression that you faced because of a lot of different reasons, I'm interested in what, if any, mental health care you got in the course of that.
I remember as I was applying for a disability, they send you to a psychiatrist who was determining do you feel like doing anything to yourself or had anyone done something to you. And they try to judge your mind state. And actually, my mind state was okay, except for there was that moment of what I've been through in life. But that's all of us. But sometimes it get overwhelming. And you might break out crying because someone said something that, that was, I can't express it, but it's something. It's not your character. It's not who you are. And sometimes your character will take over and say, you know what, let it go. Just let it go. It's just, you're better than that. And that takes soul searching.
But you really haven't had treatment, have you?
No. I don't think I really need much treatment. I feel it's an emotional thing. Maybe I took some pills to kind of help me deal with it, and they did help. But I think it's a lot of soul searching. It's things in our life overwhelm you on every level, and you have to deal with. That's anybody, regardless of your mental state or not. I think it's just something you had to overcome, and that's what I had to do.
Another question, please? While we're searching and thinking about our questions, please.
Anything, come on, bro. You gotta know, give it all you got. Bring it.
What is the health care that you have now?
Some kind of badger care program, and it covers most of the stuff I do. I put it to the test every chance I get. Just pay for this. Come on, pay for this. Pay for this. So yeah, it seemed to be covering certain things. You know, when I leave here, I got to go to this dentist, and they covering that, I suppose. But you know, I just work within the system. You know, if I can't pay them anything, so they're gonna hear that right off the bat. But you know, I see what it can do. I don't know what it's doing for everybody else at this point. You know, I haven't got out there for a while. Just been taking care of my own business at this point. But I'm assuming it's a lot better than it was. You know, I don't hear too many people lately from what I'm saying they're not getting quite as bad, you know, medical. They still complain about what they got to pay afterward. Me personally, I take it for what it is and what it ain't. You know, it's out of my control anyway. If they don't cover this or don't cover that, there's not much I can do about it. But I know what the result's going to be.
Question in the back. Question in the back and then up front.
Well, first, Mr. Patton, I want to thank you for sharing your story with us, because I
You're
know
welcome.
it's not always easy to share stories, but those types of stories are what we all need to hear so that we can figure out some of the problems. You have Badger Care now, and my question to you is, after a lot of people think insurance is the answer to
Right.
everything, and now that you have insurance, do you have a primary care provider? Is there one person that you get to go see that helps you?
Yeah, lately it's like I have a doctor. Sometimes he got a second doctor with him.
Mm-hmm.
They're from Nigeria somewhere. And the funny thing about that is he's only there on Fridays. So then I might see another doctor when I come in. But sometimes you got to make an appointment. But they will see you. But 10 to 1, you're going to be recommended. I see very little care done exactly. Like I said, well, I got something here with this arm I need to be taken off. Well, before we do this, we'll run this test here, and then that's it. And then we have the secretary supposed to set you up for an appointment. You never hear anything. Then you come and say, what happened to the appointment? You know, so there's a lot of bureaucracy mishandling. And then you say, well, wow, now I got to come back and remind them that they were supposed to set something up for me. I had a back thing that was supposed to be done. They set up. Guess what happened? Again, Miss Diane set me up for a referral at Marquette for therapy for my back, and it's been helping me. And as y'all can see, I can sit up. I used to couldn't sit up like that. I'll be like leaning like this. I'll be like, but now I can do that. And that was just a helping hand. See how that works? You know, when people are really committed to helping people, you get results. You can see the results. If you would have talked to me, y'all seen that video I was seeing, you see how I was like, do I look like that now? No. Because it's a turnaround in a person's life. I say, hey, I'm going for it. You know, then I look like, I was ready to post a child for something or another. But I'm at a stage where I'm all right to answer that young lady because I'm good.
Well, it seems to me like you're saying that the insurance help, but also integrated with the help of others. Because
Right.
just insurance alone doesn't get you to navigate.
Right. That's exactly what you're saying. That's exactly what it is, a little combination of both.
Thank you. Next question. Up here.
John, I live in Portland, Oregon, and homelessness is a big issue there, and a very noticeable one for people. And there's been a lot of struggles, but really, I think the numbers of homeless have gone up. And I wondered, in your lifetime in Milwaukee, you were talking about your younger years when we had the door open and stuff. I wondered, have you seen like a change in terms of homelessness in Milwaukee has increased in your lifetime? And also, I was just curious, like, what does homeless mean, like in Milwaukee? Because in the Northwest, people they sleep under the bridges all winter long. A lot of people do not want to go in the shelters because they say their stuff gets stolen or lice, stuff like that.
Well,
so I just wondered.
Go ahead. You through? I didn't want to interrupt you. But I'm going to ask you a question. What I have noticed from the 80s on down to now, that the same thing does happen here. They do sleep under bridges and stuff like that, and sometimes it leads to some crime. Sometimes it doesn't. Just some people need someplace to die. We had a death in Milwaukee several years ago. A guy died on the step of the vehicle administration because he was too proud to go in the shelter. We have shelters. Sometimes they get crowded, but the homelessness situation here is just as bad. I was watching a documentary. I was just flipping on Channel 2. I love watching PBS, and I didn't know they were sleeping by that train on the 16th bridge. I mean, a bunch of police go in there, don't bother them just because they got no place else to go. And I didn't know they were actually, I couldn't imagine sleeping in that railroad thing that's abandoned from the 1920s or 30s or 40s. And there was a guy, I remember he was crying. He said he just didn't like being homeless, if things could change for him. And that kind of touched me. And then it made me think, so where do I fit in the scheme of the thing? And I would promise myself that would never happen to me. I forbid it. I hope it never does. But I can relate with that guy, what he's going through. I see him. I go on these St. Ben. It's not too far from here. If next time y'all go by there, watch these people in line as they're eating food. Don't pity them, because really they're happy and content in their life to a degree. It's just that the face that the city put on them. They don't think about the human side of that. Don't treat them like cattle. Don't make them treat them like cattle. If they need soap, deodorant, or something, help them out. Don't sit there and just say, you better take 5 minutes for your shower, or you don't need these bus tickets to get to here. You can only get 1 or 2. They treat them less humanized. They dishumanize these people. I talk to them. They may have a little beer on their breath. Some don't, some do. Some are just bad luck. And here's another thing, too, that surprised you. It ain't always just the bums. There's women and children I know seen in bad condition. There college students suffering, eating meals at St. Ben because they can't afford to eat at college. So homelessness got a lot of faces to it. We just don't see them all. And what I see is the ones that are in the most need are the ones that they should need. So I see people give them money, sandwiches. That's a small drop in the bucket. But what they really need is shelter. It ain't much. I forget what city I caught this news story. They didn't want to see the bums. I think it was Los Angeles. They didn't want to see the bums on the street. So what they did is they gave them a hotel. He said, don't give them a hotel. They're going to be doing drugs all over. No, he said, it's better than them being in the street. You don't have to see them, but at least they got a roof over their head. Which is the worst? Which is the pro or con? And that's how you got to look at that, as a pro or con. Do you want them to be on the street, or do you want them to be off the street? It's more humane to get them off the street. You could then get them off drugs. Make sweeps in the apartment building. So the guy, whoever came up with the idea, had the right idea, because leaving them on the street ain't going to do nothing with it. Hand them a sandwich and leave them laying on the street. Sooner or later, that's where they're going to die, on the street. Either from coldness, lack of food, or just a broken heart, because their spirit goes. So I say either is better. Get them a place, give them the time to get on their feet, and then, they might pay rent for about 2 or 3 months, and then maybe, I think there's a program here to do that. And then after they get a job, then the rent's turned over to them. That's a solution. At least come up with a solution. And I don't want to take up everybody's time,
We're here for solutions. We appreciate that. Are there any other questions? Well, my last question is, what has been the most inspiring reaction that you've gotten from the coverage that being in the newspapers?
One of my neighbors, I was walking past her house, and I'd been knowing her since I was a child. She came out, she said, that is the most beautiful, selfish thing I ever seen a person do. You really did a nice story. I said, well, you can really give that to Lillian. But I was, I said, I appreciated what she said. I felt good about it, And the more I like I said, I didn't see this audio thing, but the more I kept thinking about it, I'm walking around, hey, showing everyone, I'm having a ball with it, I'm looking at the human aspect of it. I'm saying, hey, I got my 15 minutes break. Can you be in a journal? I'm like going like that. So I took it as a nice thing. And then now that I see this, it makes me even more happier, because I like the way it was done, and I like the humanness of it, and I like the people I'm meeting here. I met some beautiful people, right? I just on this audience here, I hate to call y'all watching the show, but. And then I was surprised. I did a little thing, too. I said, I'm sitting around a lot of reporters. So,
Be careful of the media.
Yes. But even that, I like, because if you're sitting here, that shows you care. You're caring people. You wouldn't take the time. There's other people in this society. You can look at what they call them little shows, award shows, whatever. These people don't care about no one else but themselves. And the journalists and doctors or whoever in certain fields who deal with people on a regular basis, you're the real people. You're what matters. You're what counts, because You take the time to do something like this. When you could be doing anything. You say, okay, that's someone else's problem. Instead, y'all investigate. You try to find out what's going on in this world with an objective view of it at some time. But at least you're doing something about it. You're not sitting on your butt. You're not sitting on your thumbs. You're out here doing all different stories. It may not be about this particular subject, but at least you're looking at the world in a humanity way. And I applaud you people for that. Give yourself a hand.
Thank you.
You know?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Final word, Lily?
Yeah.
The final word?
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
Great experience.